Sign up for the Agranak Studios newsletter at agranak.com. I know. I've been on a Dragon Bane kick lately, but damn, it's so good. And today, we're going to take a look at Path of Glory.
Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss an upload, and join the conversation over at the Agranak Cult Discord.
This campaign consists of 3 adventures meant to be played in series: The Dead Forest, Gates of Power, Heart of Darkness. This campaign was first released for Drakar och Demoner in 1985, so we're coming up on its 40th anniversary. The Dead Forest is lauded as one of the best DoD adventures of all time by some. Having read it, I clearly see why. The original 2 adventures were written by Roger Undhagen, The Dead Forest and Gates of Power, and then not only the new text but also the new adventure was written by all these awesome people right here: Thomas Hornstrom, Svante Landgraf, Roger Undhagen, which is the writer of the first 2 and also Heart of Darkness, and Matthias Johnson Heck or Huck. The cover art is by Johan Egerkrans, one of my favorite modern day illustrators, and then the interior is not only by Johan as well, but David Brasgala. And the 2 art styles marry very, very, very well. Having just finished reading this book, it's pretty epic. Great storytelling, and having not played it, at first glance, the end of Heart of Darkness seems very, very deadly. I would say, don't be surprised if 1 or more PCs die in this adventure, or at least the final adventure. The artwork inside informs the text of the adventure. In fact, the text tells you to flip to different pages and show the players pictures so they can have an image of what the scene might be or the NPCs might be looking like. The book comes with these 2 maps at the beginning and the end. You don't need this second one, which is the Eastern Lands, until the 3rd adventure. The first adventure is played here. The second one is a dungeon crawl inside of these mountains over here. The book itself comes with this amazing map, and this shows not only this is the Eastern Lands here, and then this is the Dead Forest, and a nice handout for your players or reference for the DM, or as I'm going to do, probably frame it and put it up because these maps are absolutely beautiful. One of my pet peeves is having 2 maps, but they are on 1 sheet, so I would like to have had this be 2 different maps so that I could frame both of them, but, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. Maybe in the future. Some people might call what I'm about ready to do spoilers, I suppose. So if you're gonna play this, I would turn this video off, maybe come back later and watch it, or send this to the game master that you want to run it. The first adventure starts off as the pieces enter the area of the Dead Forest. Curiosity or fortune is the thing that drives our adventurers to start to dig around the area, uncovering the clues as to why the Dead Forest is, well, dead. One thing leads to another, peeling back more and more layers. The PCs find that there is more and more mysteries to be uncovered, including pacts with the demon Sothmog, and treasures hidden deep within the dwarven dungeon akin to Moria. All guised within a plot including 3 magic users that have been bent on finding the artifact called the Heart of Darkness that belongs to the demon Sothmog. There is a wonderfully clean layout here, almost control panel. All the info for what you need within 1 flip, or at the most 2, if it's a large map, that is. So this, for instance, here is Stormhand's lair, and here are the locations. And then it continues describing each location on another page flip here. Now, something that Ben Milton from Questing Beast harps on in the OSR scene is making sure that you have, if you have a map, to limit page flipping by including the map in the area that you are describing or the section of it. Like here in my Old School Essential Adventure Dance of the Leprechaun, you can see just a map and what is described, and there's no need to flip the pages. These maps are obviously bigger and take up more space, but I would agree with Ben that if you're going to have to page flip, might as well take a section of the map that you are describing and put it on the pages, at least within a control panel spread, so that you're not flipping back and forth. So because they don't follow that full control panel spread, that could be a gripe for some people. However, you can always copy the map, print it out, have it in front of you, which is something I would suggest anyway, and there you go. Problem solved. The Dead Forest has a pretty good sandbox feel to it. You can go pretty much anywhere and discover different things in no particular order. Once you find the keys to get in to the Gates of Power, here are the Gates of Power right here. Once you get in, you start Gates of Power, the adventure, and this is definitely a dungeon crawl akin to Lord of the Rings, traveling through Moria, but a little bit more detailed and definitely more time spent there, and clues to be uncovered. By the time you get to Heart of Darkness, it is more linear, only because by that time your players have a real clear path set before them. The stakes are laid out, and they need to buff the hell up. No, seriously, the third installment needs to have some beefy characters with magic items and other helps in order to get through it, because as I mentioned before, it has the potential to be really, really deadly. But that is the tension and the ramping up, of course. There are wonderful random event tables, and the tables that Dragonbane in all of their products have are second to none. Just really great, evocative, and they push the story forward. And sometimes you can tweak things, like maybe with this one, I'm not sure, that you can roll randomly, but sometimes it says if you are ramping up the tension to add a +2 or a +4 so that you get these more deadly things. So a 1 typically, not always, maybe not even on this chart, but typically is more benign than something that's at the latter end. The art of the NPCs are awesome. I really, really dig the art, the layout, the colors, the parchment, but the fact that the parchment doesn't obscure your reading, which is really great. Awesome maps. Here's one of the town Stonemouth, and your run-of-the-mill mallard here. Maybe not run-of-the-mill. That's actually an NPC within this adventure. Wonderful art, and what's great is that you have your monster and NPC stats right here when you get to that place at your adventure. It talks about the magic system of demonology, and what's really cool is that it even gives a little advertisement that the Book of Magic for Dragonbane will be forthcoming, and there will be not only demonology, but so much more magic in that. I can't wait for that book to come out. Beautiful maps of places. There is a lot of quasi-dungeon crawl in this, but there's a decent amount of overland stuff as well, so don't be deterred. Like, here's even an overland sort of point crawl encampment for the Hills of Kalen. Awesome art informing the demonic seed pods, and basically at the end here, it just keeps ramping up and ramping up and ramping up until you're not only fighting a troll hag witch chick, but also maybe the BBEG of the game. There's an assassin that might appear all at the end, and even Sothmog makes a appearance. So be careful. This is quite deadly. Here's some handouts towards the end, and that is that. All right, let's talk about the one thing I would tweak if running this campaign. I think that every player character in the group, even ones that might be introduced halfway through because of player death, or maybe a new player comes in and picks up a character, should be connected to the plot somehow. Instead of just having them be some random adventurers stumbling upon these curious things, have them directly involved in the plot. A good place to start would be to have one or more of the PCs part of the Keepers of the Immaculate Flame. This is a draconic order that is diametrically opposed to Sothmog, as well as the main wizard BBEG, Dakoth. So that would be my main advice in regards to this. You could have a dwarven character that is connected somehow to the Gates of Power, almost like Gimli in Lord of the Rings and Moria. If you've already read through this, maybe you've got some ideas as to how you could connect the PCs to this adventure specifically, or campaign really, so that they're more invested in it. I'd like to know your ideas. Also in the comments, is this an adventure that you think you might run in the future? Let me know. All right, everyone. Thanks for stopping by Agranak Studios today, and we'll see you on the next one. Later. This video was brought to you by the generous support of our patrons. Consider becoming a patron so you can help us make more content like this. Or get yourself a t-shirt below. Later.
All right, do this and do that and do this and do that. And watch this video.